Hey guys, welcome back. I'm just making a short video today about whether or not you should be worried about being detained if you have DACA. So, a couple parts to this, but for most people who are actively renewing their DACA and either you currently have DACA or your renewal application is pending, I would not worry about enforcement action by ICE. And I understand that many people with DACA actually have old deportation orders from when they were kids. However, more importantly, in my opinion, they do not have serious criminal history because you can't qualify for DACA if you have more than one significant misdemeanors or 3 run-of-the-mill misdemeanors. All felonies will disqualify you. So most people, if you have a DUI, you can't even qualify to renew your DACA. And a DUI doesn't otherwise carry other immigration consequences. And in most states, to the best of my knowledge, it's a misdemeanor. So how can it be that someone with a deportation order isn't going to be targeted when they have DACA? What is DACA? So DACA was created by Obama, and it's a creature of executive action, basically. Congress was not involved, so it's not a real immigration status. Basically, it's a promise to not deport you. That's it, just a promise to not deport you and to give you a work permit while the government doesn't deport you. And many people have been able to use DACA to fix their illegal entries. And I can't tell you how many clients I've represented with DACA who've subsequently married US citizens after fixing their illegal entry. And now they no longer have DACA, they've applied for permanent residence. The number of DACA applicants over time will always decrease. Either people will apply for permanent residence and no longer need DACA, or they'll lose DACA. And one of the key ways to lose DACA is through criminal history. So generally speaking, if you fail to renew your DACA within 1 year of it expiring, that's it. It's game over. There's no more DACA for you whatsoever. And I've seen people get convicted of some crimes that caused them to have a 1 year lapse in DACA while they were trying to fix that crime or get it pardoned or reopened. In some states, they can get it rescinded. In New York, there's something called a 440 motion to basically try to fix an old criminal conviction and get rid of the conviction. And if you can't do that in time and you end up losing your DACA status for more than 1 year continuously, you can no longer renew it. And if you don't fix that crime, you now also have a criminal conviction and no DACA protections. So in that situation, you can very well be targeted by ICE. But if you have active DACA, I would not worry too much about getting detained. It would probably be a mistake. ICE, once they find out that you have active DACA with no criminal history, my understanding is that they should stop trying to detain you, stop trying to give you a notice to appear in immigration court. But even if they give you a notice to appear in immigration court, that might not be the end of the world. Getting detained, though, can have some real consequences for your work life, your family life, your personal life. So that would be the situation that I really want to avoid. The question now becomes, if DACA is somehow canceled in its entirety, what happens to the protections for people who've been here for 30 years now and have had work permits, employment authorization, social security cards, real careers for the majority of their adult lives? And the answer is, I don't know. That's a real scary prospect. Trump tried to cancel DACA last time around, and the best that came out of it for Trump was that people can no longer apply for initial DACA applications. They can only renew DACA if they've already had it. So the applicant pool, each renewal cycle is decreasing, and some people get weeded out from crimes, and some people become permanent residents and no longer need DACA. So it's unclear what's going to happen to this slowly diminishing pool of DACA recipients, especially if the program goes away entirely. I don't know if that's going to happen. I personally don't think that's going to happen. But whenever I meet with a DACA recipient, the first thing I want to do is create a plan for what happens if you lose your DACA status or you somehow end up in removal proceedings. One short story I want to end with. I've had clients before in removal proceedings. And I've told the judge, this person has DACA. Can we just terminate the deportation proceedings? They're not supposed to get deported. And the judge said specifically, DACA is not an immigration status. It is not a defense from deportation. It is the Department of Homeland Security deprioritizing people who are granted DACA status. So under the laws enacted by Congress, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has a list of people they want to deport, and they have to take some action to deport those people under the law. But people who have DACA are at the end of the list. So theoretically, if everyone before them got removed from the United States and they were to comply with the law as Congress intended, they would then have to go after the DACA people unless there was some sort of congressional fix to this problem. All right, guys, that video ended up being a little longer than I expected. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments section below. If you're new to my channel, I try to create several videos a week about the family-based immigration process and naturalization. So if you're interested in learning any more about those, schedule a consultation with me. I would love to go through the whole process with you. And if you would like, I can represent you throughout the entire process. If you have DACA and you're married to a US citizen and you want to create a plan for what would happen if you lose DACA, you should also schedule a consultation. There's a lot that we could talk about. I think you'll get some value out of it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time for another video.